It's been 3 episodes since Joel was killed off in The Last of Us. His body showed up in episode 3, and even though the vote to go after his killers lost in the council, the community there mourned his loss. He settled down and made a home in Jackson. And from the look we got of that in the season 2 premiere, everything seemed to be good there except his relationship with Ellie. There was something going on between them right before his end. And since they can't talk about what happened before they arrived at Jackson with anyone else, there's only one person who knows what that's about. Joel's absence looms large over the series, and that's precisely the point. This is a story about being alone and never having anything, and then every time something worth keeping comes into your life, it leaves. First Riley and then Joel. And it's further complicated because you have this thing that makes you special, but you can't tell anyone about it or do anything with it, so it's essentially useless. It's even worse than that because the one person Ellie loved more than anything, the person who protected her and who she found this father-daughter connection with, may have taken away the only chance for her immunity to mean something. At the end of the 5th episode of The Last of Us' 2nd season, Ellie gets her first chance to make someone involved pay for what happened to Joel. Dina reinforced the righteousness in doing this earlier in the episode, and Nora made herself as justifiably killable as a person in her position could by adding insult to injury at every turn. The level of rage we saw from Ellie hit a new height, but we like Joel, hate what happened to him, and therefore can understand where it comes from. The complication is that Nora uses her last minutes to lay out the reasons why Joel had to die from her perspective, and more importantly, Abby's. This gets to the heart of why the questions we don't have answers to are so important. After Nora realizes Ellie is the immune girl of legend, she tells her what really happened at the hospital that day. While Abby already revealed to us that the doctor Joel killed there was her father, Ellie wasn't at the lodge yet and Dina was knocked out, so he took that information with him. This should be news to Ellie, but even after hearing the truth about what happened at St. Mary's Hospital, she just says she knows and doesn't care. We're missing something, and we need Joel to come back in order to get it. So when he pops up with his "Hey kiddo" at the end of episode 5, it's not just great to see Pedro Pascal return, it's a promise for answers before we wrap this season up. The new preview trailer HBO released for episode 6 opens with the shot of Joel saying, "Close your eyes, it'll be worth it." This and the final line are great choices because they give the sense of him speaking to us from beyond the grave. You can't see her, but he's obviously talking to Ellie. This shot is something instantly recognizable for those of us who played the game. But if you haven't, I'm not sure how to describe what's happening here. How do I describe a scene like this when I know exactly what's happening without giving it away? I feel like you either know what it is or you don't. And if you haven't experienced it yet, then you should see it as it's intended and not spoil yourself. A lot of this trailer and the other associated clips released in previous teasers are like that. About 50% looks like it's taken straight from the game. Things that are super memorable and essential and will no doubt make for one of the season's best episodes. The nature of them being flashbacks strips any meaningful context, so it's hard to pretend to speculate. The shots with the dinosaur statue are the perfect example of what I'm talking about. In the episode 6 trailer, we get a shot of Joel smiling at Ellie as she climbs on this thing. What is that, you say? What is it doing in a seemingly wooded area in the middle of nowhere? These are good questions. They're the same ones Ellie has when she discovers it, and you do while you're playing the game. We've seen this in a few of the trailers at this point, and if you go back to the official season 2 trailer, the shot you need to make sense of this and the opening shot of this one are there. There aren't many shots we haven't seen left in that or the Weeks Ahead trailer that came out after the season premiere, but most of them should be in episode 6. The first one that caught my attention when I watched the official trailer to make this breakdown was the first shot from the dinosaur flashback that shows up. You could tell it's the same day because of their clothes. Joel's wearing the same thing he's wearing when he comes into a room at the end of episode 5. And while all the other shots show them happy and smiling, this one, where he asks if she's okay, is different. She's following behind him and notices some fireflies flying around on the side of the trail. She stops to look at those. It's almost like she's frozen in place and gets lost in thought before she turns to look at him and answer his question. Yeah, she's doing okay. But the whole thing works as a hint that she's still thinking about what happened in Salt Lake at this point in the story and isn't sure how to feel about it. In the shot that follows the dinosaur, we see Joel laughing at Ellie. It looks like he was getting ready to cut a birthday cake, but she had already used her hands to take a bite. They're both wearing different clothes here, so this is likely a memory from a different day. The birthday cake makes it feel like family stuff, dad and daughter stuff. We see the happy Ellie, the one we got glimpses of in the first season when she'd tell the stupid jokes, and the one we're only starting to see come back in the fleeting quiet moments she spends with Dina on their quest for revenge in season 2. The tone changes some in the next shot. We see that he's grabbed her arm and is looking at her tattoo while it's still unfinished, and she pulls her arm away. You can tell it's not done because the black hasn't been filled in yet. And so this sent me back to the Weeks Ahead trailer because here they look pissed at each other. But I knew that teaser opened with him looking at the tattoo as well, but it had a different feeling. In the Weeks Ahead version, Ellie's wearing the same shirt, but the mood is different. And since the window is there, you can see that the one where they look upset is during the day. And for the second one, he must have returned later for a second conversation. This is a small detail, but this isn't something that comes directly from the game. And it seems to support the idea that it's an all flashbacks episode that will give us a much better idea of what's going through Ellie's head when Nora tells her what Joel did. There were certainly hints that something changed between Joel and Ellie between the night of the dance, when she walked past him on the porch, and the next morning when she's talking to Jesse. We haven't seen what that is yet. The Weeks Ahead trailer also introduced the idea of a flashback with Gail in it. I've talked about it quite a bit in previous trailer breakdown videos because it stands out that the rest are all things Ellie was there for, and this doesn't look like one of her memories. Joel tells Gail he figures a moth means transformation and growth. She quickly corrects him and says that he's thinking of butterflies. Moths actually symbolize death, and she qualifies that by adding, if you believe in that shit. As far as you can tell, this is just Gail and Joel having a conversation that Ellie wouldn't have known about. If you add in the other stuff we haven't seen, including the shot of her husband Eugene, who looks like he's about to get put down by Joel in the one shot we've seen of him, episode 6 could add a whole other dimension to what was going on with Ellie and Joel before his demise. When Jesse brought Eugene's death up, it was clear Ellie had feelings about it she couldn't share with him. That might help make sense of the shot that follows the one with the tattoo. You see that Ellie has a tear in her eye as she stares at him before she storms off. When she's gone, he looks into the distance like he is just now understanding the full weight of whatever he did to upset her. Like it never occurred to him until that moment. This first showed up in the preseason trailer, and in that version you can hear her say "you swore" before she leaves. When I first saw that, I was confused. My initial thought was, okay, this is where the big thing comes out. Because we remember him swearing to her when he lied about Salt Lake at the end of last season. But then this shot didn't seem to look like how you would expect for that to come out. When she's walking away, it looks like another person is standing right there who can hear the whole thing. I suppose it could be Tommy since he knows the truth. But if they have it out over what really happened in Salt Lake, and she calls him out for the lie, I would have expected them to be alone and to talk about it rather than her saying it out loud and then just running off. So it's hard to say what's happening for sure, but I guess we'll finally find out. There's a countdown in the background throughout the episode 6 preview trailer that kind of underlines this, like the wait for answers, it's finally getting here. When it gets to one, there's a quick cut to black before the final shot, which is of Joel and Ellie in the woods with rifles. It looks like they're on patrol, and he says, "Remember what I taught you." There have been a couple of shots of them wearing these exact clothes, including the one of Joel standing behind Eugene, and I just noticed when looking at the trailers today that they're wearing them in the shot where she says, "You swore," and storms away. Perhaps it's all connected. This is going to be the big one. I was surprised the flashbacks I was expecting from the game didn't show up in the same places. They're just so important. There's another shot of them that doesn't show up in this trailer, but is in different ones. There's a sequence with them where he gives her the guitar I've talked about a couple of times in previous videos that I was really shocked didn't show up at the beginning of the season. In a story about loss, the things you carry with you, the things that remain, are so important. And this could be a really smart choice to put them all together. Without giving away spoilers, I think we'll get answers to the most pressing questions and probably a lot more. I can't wait to see this one. I think you should watch it right away so that you can just process it all yourself before you hear what anyone else is thinking about it. And I think that's a great place to leave things. Please like this video if you enjoyed it. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And thanks for watching. I'll talk to you soon.